What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about what is by far one of the most insanely wild and craziest action scenes to ever take place in the entire Jurassic Park franchise. And just so you know, spoilers are ahead. In Jurassic World Rebirth, we see the new mutant left behind in the Isle of Saint Hubert, the Distortus Rex, actually grab a hold of and destroy a helicopter. This scene involves a lot of pretty weird events that go down after the geothermal power plant roars back to life on the island and the Mutadons attack. But there's actually another scene that takes place earlier in the movie that builds up to this helicopter scene at the end. And that part of Jurassic World Rebirth leaves a lot of interesting questions, to say the least. So look guys, early on in the movie, Martin Krebs, the guy that has organized the expedition to the island, comes across a downed helicopter in the jungle. Now at this point in the film, things have not been going good for the team, and with the Spinosaurs killing members of the crew and the Mosasaurus helping to destroy their ship, Duncan and Zora venture into the island with basically no weapons. Bobby Atwater having brought a supply of neurotoxin darts that would get fired off at some of the Spinos, but they kind of go down with the ship in a manner of speaking. So that leads us to this scene of Martin Krebs locating the downed chopper in the jungle, which he immediately uses as a chance to steal a pistol, still locked in the hands of one of the deceased men inside of the chopper. But hang on just a minute, like, what exactly is going on here? If we pay close attention to the scene, Martin comes across a pair of dog tags before looking up and noticing that the helicopter has been destroyed by something that had to have knocked it out of the sky. The thick canopy of trees are what helped the thing back from totally falling down to the ground, and we can see that the blades of the helicopter have been kept intact despite it going this far down. But what exactly happened to these guys? And more importantly, who are they? We know that after the D-Rex escaped, everyone pretty much left the Isle of Saint Hubert and began to move all further genetics work to Isla Nublar. In the first Jurassic World, Dr. Wu has a ton of hybrids on his computer monitors that he's been working on, and the Indominus Rex itself was actually cloned there. So who are these military guys that have arrived via chopper, and how did they get knocked out of the sky? Well, Jurassic World Rebirth explains part of this question in that outlandishly crazy scene. In the third act of the film, we see Zora's helicopter extraction team has arrived to pick up the survivors at the geothermal power plant. This was a last resort sort of idea if they had radio silence for 24 hours. At least 3 people are seen inside of the chopper looking for anyone to pick up before finally coming across Dr. Loomis and going back to save everyone they could. But that's when the Distortus Rex shows up, the animal being attracted to light, specifically flares, much like a normal engine Tyrannosaurus. And this part of the movie is where things just get flat out crazy. From a writing standpoint, it looks like David Koepp sets it up to where the chopper just goes into the fog and you don't really know what happens to the helicopter until the big reveal. But Gareth Edwards decides to showcase the D-Rex in this particular scene in ways in which it just makes everything look insanely crazy, to say the least. So this is the point in the movie where it's revealed that the Distortus Rex knows how to destroy helicopters, and in fact, he knows how to do this so well that he's figured out a way to destroy the blades before attacking the vessel itself, and what is the most outlandishly Godzilla-inspired scene in, I think, all of Jurassic Park history. And what makes things kind of unbelievable, in my opinion, is the fact that they've increased the size of the animal here to what it usually is in the movie, so it's actually been like giant sized for this one scene before going back to a smaller model to eat Martin Krebs later on. Absolutely nonsensical, but it does make for an incredibly weird and nightmarish reveal. Anyways, back to the actual mystery at play. The movie kind of just covers up the actual attack with the fog so that we don't see what exactly happens. So how the Distortus Rex destroys the blades of the helicopter, which obviously would have cut him up and killed him had the monster not done this, that's literally left in the shadows. But the fact that this scene ties into the one from earlier is what makes things even more interesting because, and let's honestly entertain the whole idea here for a minute, if it wasn't the Quetzalcoatlus or anything else that took down the helicopter from the earlier scene in the movie, and in fact I think Rebirth is trying to tell us that it was the D-Rex that did that, well, then how has this monster gotten so proficient to do such a thing? And who are these guys that showed up earlier? Well, if the team that Martin Krebs stumbles across weren't some kind of rescue chopper from 17 years ago when the island initially fell, well guys, think about this. That means that someone else has tried to get to the island before. And even more interesting is the fact that it was military personnel that were trying to do it. Could have been Hoskins guys with engine, could have been a random special operation we don't know anything about, or it could have been from an earlier team that Krebs and Parker Jennings sent that went missing after their chopper was downed. This whole idea is actually one of the things in Jurassic World Rebirth that I had the most fun with when I actually sat down to think about the movie, because it's left in this sort of shrouded mystery where we don't really have any details at all except for the fact that the D-Rex knocked something out of the sky and these guys died there after going for whatever reason to the island, and it may have even happened more after that because the D-Rex knows how to take helicopters down so easily in the final act of the film. It's kind of cool in a weird way. The lore that you could think up behind this is very interesting. But whatever the case may be for all of this stuff, it just opens up some fun ideas as to who knew about this island in the past and how long have people been trying to get to it. Also, how many helicopters has the Distortus Rex destroyed after they've unwittingly come to the island and tried to take some of Saint Hubert's secrets? Whatever these answers may be, the craziest thing in this scene is the idea that the Distortus Rex somehow has the ability to destroy the helicopter's blades with such proficiency and with such precision as to not get hurt by them, that he's able to do it like that easily. I get suspension of disbelief. I get doing something for the rule of cool, and honestly, I'm not even going to critique that aspect of it. I mean, we see stuff like that all the time in this series. I'm just saying, maybe this one went a little too far. But also, maybe they can repurpose this whole attack scene and the ideas behind it and recontextualize it for a sequel and make it way more interesting and fun with the world building of this island and the Distortus Rex along with its lore. Because look guys, believe it or not, there is a lot of stuff from this movie and the whole island of Saint Hubert itself that it's just super interesting to say the least. But anyways guys, what do all of you think? Who were these people the D-Rex took down on the island before the events of Jurassic World Rebirth? What were they doing on the Isle of Saint Hubert? And how in the world did the D-Rex destroy those helicopter blades? Did it pick up a piece of metal or rock in one hand and knock them away while destroying them and grabbing the chopper itself in the other hand? Did it somehow manage to shove it into a mountain or what? Like, how did any of this happen? And also, how do you feel about the crazy size change in this shot? It's kind of just crazy. I don't know how you don't think it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, it was shockingly wild on first watch, but I think that's because I wasn't expecting a Godzilla scene in the middle of Jurassic Park 7. With that being said guys, whatever your own thoughts on all of this information happens to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all, Christ is King, see you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.